You've been part of some crazy playoff series since you've been in Denver. A lot of game sevens. This one's had 4 of 6 that have been kind of up for grabs in the last minute.
Yeah.
Where does this kind of rank just from a competitiveness standpoint in terms of what you guys have been through over the last few years as a series?
I mean, Minnesota I didn't think was that competitive, to be honest, a lot of those games. Portland was crazy competitive the year that, we lost here. San Antonio was an amazing series, all those years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's up there. And I think just the adjustments that have to be made and the teams that have had the most juice and physicality have won, all the games, in my opinion. So this will be no different. I know it's the deciding game because we can't play best of 9, so I get it. But I think it's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be its own story. Obviously, there's pressure added to it. But the feeling I got from our guys is they understand what this is, and they're taking it in a professional way because that's the way you have to be. It's emotional, but if you're going to win the game, you got to be professional. We know that, so I'm excited for the challenge.
Coach, Ty adjusted in Game 6 and started Nico Batum in the second half. Just what did he bring for them? And you guys are obviously expecting that in this game tonight. Just what does he change from Chris Dunn?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a high-level player for, it seems like, 20 years, and they have a lot of options over there, and it was a good option. He did a good job on both ends, and it changes your rotation a little bit, who you put out there for what reasons. And we have to attack it better, obviously, get our better players in space. We have to be much more physical with how we screen if they're going to be picking up the way they were. And I thought offensively we just got hurried up by it. And when you get hurried up on the road in a playoff game, you're going to lose. Bottom line, Game 3, Game 6, same story. Game 3, much worse. Game 6, we let go of the rope in the third quarter, fought to get back in it, had a chance. But, yeah, we can't let that happen tonight. And he was a big part of that. And again, I'm going to say it, that guy's been good forever. Like, this isn't like they just found this guy. He's been a very, very high-level NBA player for a very long time. Huge fan of his game, internationally too. So, yeah, he presents problems, but we have to handle them better.
Coach, Jokic is still, his stats are always close to a triple-double. They're still really good all the time, but he hasn't had those 40-point, 50-point games. Is there anything you can do to get him going? I know we've all had these stats of what Zubac has done against him. I think Harden guarded him a little bit. Batum. Is there anything? Could you get him going? Or does
yeah. I think the screening thing I'm mentioning is not just with Jamal. Like, if you want to get him in space and let him feel comfortable, then we have to do a better job of knocking people off. Zubac is a really good defender, but they've also sent bodies late to him. Sometimes made contact, sometimes didn't. But yeah, we have to handle that better. I think in the catch and shoot stuff, he can be aggressive to shoot it. But I also thought he drove it and found people. Christian Brown doesn't make the threes at the end of the game if Nikola Jokic doesn't make the play for him. So it's a catch-22. Like, he needs to score, but he also needs to create offense as well. And him, he'll balance it out. He'll figure out a way to be impactful that way. But yeah, they've done a good job in the sense of making it hard for him, which is what the playoffs are supposed to be. But I would expect a big game from him. I think Game 4, he was pretty exceptional. Would not be surprised if we see that in Game 7.
Coach, how do you brought it up earlier in one of your answers, but how do you balance in a Game 7 playing with emotion but not being emotional?
Yeah, no, I think experience helps. We played in a lot of these games, and you have to understand that there is a point of exhaustion in these games, especially with the quick turnaround, playing later in LA and then coming back here and playing a somewhat earlier game with playing 7 games total. So, yeah, I think when there's downs in the game, that's when everybody has to be the closest together, keep each other going. You have to find energy from one another. And, I thought last year, the Minnesota game, we ran out of gas after putting everything out there in the first half. And so I have to help them with that. We have to balance out as best we can, understand how long this game is. And in order to win it, you really have to stay in the moment. And like I said, everybody's got to be there for one another. And guys could come in and play for 45 seconds. They come in and play for a minute and a half. Whatever it may be, everybody's got to be ready because that's how you're going to find a way to score more points than them in a deciding game.
Dave, what have you been most proud of about your team's defensive performance over the course of this series?
I think the games we won, we were impactful early in all ways. I thought we were more up the line, with our weak side defense. I thought we impacted them with active hands. which sounds like a simple thing, but when you're mentally tired and physically tired from a series, sometimes that stuff goes away as the games dwindle on. I thought that happened in the third quarter in LA the other night. And when we're consistently active and guys are being responsible for their teammates, and we're connected with how we're rotating, contesting, defensive rebounding, it has led to better offensive games. Because I think they're thinking the same thing. They're a great defense. When their defense impacts us like it did in Game 6, they score 20-plus points off turnovers. So that's been the deciding factor in these games is activity and how long can that activity sustain to win a game. So our three wins, I thought we were at our best in that sense of communication and just kind of covering for the man next to you. Because this is, man, these guys are too good. We have really good players. They have really good players. It's not just one person guarding one person. It's a team thing, a team effect. So if we want to win this game, that has to continue.
David, you talked about how physical the Clippers Smalls were in Game 6 and said you guys need to go there, tonight. What does that look like, and what is the message to the group as far as just kind of that physicality tonight?
Yeah, we have to read the game, see the way the game is being officiated, how physical it is. I think it'll be a game that they let the guys play. And you have to test the boundary a little bit, both teams, because you're trying to win a game. You're trying to deter the other team from having any kind of flow offensively. We have to meet that level, that measurement that they went to in LA. So I'm not going there. We got to play a lot harder and more physical.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.